don't know yet. I don't know my personality.
I ain't got my headphones in. Am I put? What? Is it Bluetooth in this bitch?
Nah, I thought they were gonna be, man. That's once we start getting some followers. We got the metronome going.
You hear it?
Yeah, I can hear the metronome.
Yeah.
Cool. So, the closer you get to the mic, bro, you can sit back on it. And, like, if I got to move it, you might need to move it.
Oh, no.
You should be able to just, like, lean in like that.
That sounds sexy in a
That's what I'm
bitch.
saying. That's that way. You got that.
Sweat. Ooh.
Alright.
Hey,
Recording has started.
I just
You
want to
got the
talk.
metronome going, bro.
Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Y'all making beats too?
Well, he is. This man's doing everything,
I don't
bro.
make beats. My brother got music, man.
Oh my gosh.
Hold on, fam. Where you from?
I'm from Gula, Pascagoula on the coast.
I'm from Goshay, fam.
For real?
Yeah. Wait, how old are you?
I am. Why am I thinking? I'm 27.
Yeah, you like my
I was like,
First of all, like,
1992.
Yeah, you
carry
close
the
to my
one
brother's
that
age.
shit. Am I 27?
Isn't it too bad?
Well, I graduated 2011. What about you?
Shit, I'm older than you, fam. I graduated in
okay.
2006. My little brother graduated in like 10.
What's your brother name?
His name is Gavin. Gavin Donaldson. You probably don't know him though.
Gavin
He a whole nother field with it. Like
I got you.
he's eclectic, more eclectic than me.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm
I
about
can
to
see
say
that.
something real stupid. What is that word? I know the word. Eclectic is can do a lot. Is that what it means?
Eclectic is out of the norm in my definition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, just
Eccentric.
kinda.
Well, no, I think eccentric is more like a personality trait. Where like eclectic could mean like you do a lot of different type of things.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
That
So-
you didn't expect this one, you know what I'm saying, to really be on. Like, he's not stereotypical, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I got you.
He's eclectic.
Like he's the type of nigga, bro, that'll like punch you in the mouth,
Yeah.
but then like truly be like, damn, dude, like I didn't mean to do you like that.
Yeah.
But like I wouldn't try Gavin. Like he fights.
Yeah, like real
Gotcha.
shit, he's an MMA fighter, but started off playing like Kurt Cobain, shit like that. You know what I mean? Like can quote all like metal music and shit, but then still listen to Kodak Black. So it's
Gotcha,
like it's
gotcha.
just random.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah, man.
I actually I don't listen that much to like rock or anything like that, but I had a time where I did. So I'll still go back like Cage the Elephants. I'll go back to stuff like that. I haven't like found a new artist.
Well, see,
Like-
but that's the cool thing about him, though, dude. Like having a brother like that, because so I'm like more traditional, if you will. Like you look at me, you can pretty much tell me, you know, you can tell what you're gonna get. But with him, he put me on shit like Guns N' Roses stuff, like stuff I never would have touched. You know, like artists
Right.
like you saying, I never would have known about.
Can I ask you something though? When Gavin was going to high school, right, or when you were going to high school, let me say that first. When you were in school, right, going through like your formative years as like a young man and shit, were you around? Did you have those like extra spheres of influence, or like you had white folks that were there, even just there to kick it with, or was it predominantly like?
So that's the cool thing, and fam can kind of attest to what I'm about to say. In Goshay, it's like almost 50-50. There's no private school, so everybody goes to the same school, right?
Yeah.
So you grow up around white people, you know what I mean? Like, not necessarily the kind that say, listen to quote-unquote, like, metal, you know? You more so, what's the song, like, Margaritaville, like that kind of deal,
Jimmy
country,
Buffett?
you know what I mean? Stuff
Yes,
like
sir.
that, yeah. But they'll also kind of listen to rap a little bit, but it was like, growing up with them, you didn't really know that they were racist until you got a little bit older.
Oh, man.
That's a fact, bro.
You were like,
That's just, but I look back and it's because Goshay and Pascagoula are kind of like this. Like Goshay, literally, they used to come to Pascagoula because we had Votech, stuff like that. So I don't know if we knew each other, but everybody on the coast kind of know each other.
Yeah.
But just like you were talking about, I didn't realize the situation I was in until I got to fucking college and I did speech and debate, and I was like, oh wait, damn, I was tripping. Like I just didn't know. But
and we were green to that degree, you know what I mean? Because you were like, oh man, nah, these white kids, they're not racist, man.
They're
You know
not
what I mean?
like
hanging out the
everybody likes everybody.
rebel flag.
Yeah, you just
like
kinda missing
something
it.
to think about a huge truck. Like
Yeah,
You
Dude,
were right, bro.
What's crazy though, my first like racist experience happened when I was in kindergarten, right?
Yeah.
So
Say what?
Yeah, check this out. So I'm in kindergarten at this, like my uncle was the first black kid to ever go to school here at this elementary school. It's called Goshen Elementary. So anyway, fast forward to me being in kindergarten, I'm going to school, And no, I'm the only black kid. I don't know why my mom put me in this situation, but it made me who I am. So anyway, I get my homeboy comes out of nowhere. Julius ends up being a quarterback later on. He comes and we have another homeboy from Moss Point comes. So now I go from being the only black kid and now I got to click.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So we wilding. You know what I mean? Like we getting fresh cuts. Like they didn't understand when you get a fresh haircut. They didn't get it. But now I'm like, oh, we slap each other head. Like, boy, you got that fresh nose and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? We're relating.
Hate
So
that shit. Don't get the Boosie fade.
Oh shit!
Bro,
I'm telling
yo,
you,
that
I'm
guy ate.
Hold on
I only
one
had the
second.
Boosie fade one time though.
Hold on one second, fam.
I remember when I think I remember when you got the Boosie fade. Did you get the Boosie fade around me?
Nah, I think I was in like 8th grade when I got the
Okay.
Boosie fade, which honestly is when Trill Fam was like,
Yeah.
people were fucking with, well, people fuck with Boosie heavy right now anyway.
Yeah.
But like, that's when Boosie was still like young and dropping tracks and shit.
Yeah.
So like,
The fact that everybody got the Boosie fade now, kind of a little bit.
it's like you don't even know Trill Fam, fam.
Yeah.
You don't even know. But nah,
Shit is
man.
wild.
Reason I brought that shit up though, bro, is because like how y'all were saying, you know, like the difference in the genre of music you listen to, and like, you know, maybe even foods that you'd be willing to try, shit like that. You know what I mean? Your style of dress, all of that, like your sphere of influence, and like if you grew up, excuse me, like around a particular group, right? So like my experience was like, I for a long time was I'm not gonna say the only black kid, but like there were like 4 or 5 of us, but we all had completely different interests.
Yeah.
And our school was big enough to where
Y'all didn't see each other.
we didn't, it wasn't like we became friends solely based off of our skin color, but it was more so we selected friends because you're still young,
Right.
based off of interest, right? And so that led to a lot of discovery in the music I listened to and shit like that. But then, like, I never thought about it until I heard y'all two make a mention on it.
Yeah.
That, no, you didn't pick up on the slight, what is the word I want to find, for lack of a better word, you didn't pick up on, like, the little racist things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you're young and you're just like, oh, you know, we're just joshing. We're
Right.
just being funny until you get older and you start to get some, like, world
That
experience.
shit is wild.
It is wild, man.
If you put me back then, I would not have made it to where I am.
I would
For
have
a fact.
probably been a very angry kid had I
Yeah.
been more open to
Yep.
open to that shit, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and with our school, the way Pascagoula was is like everybody was real close. Kind of crazy. Like it doesn't matter what you look like. Everybody we would have parties at like the rich people, the rich white people house. We would be hanging, so everybody was close. And honestly, in a sense, kind of everybody, because everybody was like that.
Yeah.
Everybody was like secretly fucking everybody.
Yo, you are right about that, my boy.
Right? It doesn't
Mississippi.
matter who. Right? Yeah. Keep
Mississippi,
it in. You got to
baby.
keep it in the building.
So that's the difference in between Pascagoula and Gaucher, right?
What's up?
We wasn't secretly doing shit.
Yeah,
Like
it was just
everybody
out
was just
there.
fucking. Like they called us Hoshe. So like literally white girls,
Yeah.
like whatever it was. Like we just
You know who had them hoes though?
oh.
Ocean Springs.
Dude, let me tell you how them hoes.
Ocean
though.
Springs.
Ocean Springs had some bad hoes, but base
Ocean
St.
Springs
Louis,
was like the you went to Oak.
Yeah, I went to Oak Grove. Warriors,
Ocean Springs
baby.
was the Oak Grove of the coast.
yeah.
So it was like they got money, they got it was mostly like white, and it was I don't know how to describe it, but it was nice. It was nicer. They had like a really nice McDonald's, like
In the
extremely
school?
nice. No. But
I was about to say.
Let's break this down just a little bit. I'm gonna have to argue with him just a tad.
Go ahead.
It could be
Go
considered the Oak Grove of the coast, but it was not the Oak Grove of, like, in comparison to Oak Grove, not even really close in a sense of, because Ocean Springs is not that nice. That's the crazy.
When you compare it,
When you
we
compare it.
compared to Oak Grove because y'all have a whole fucking screen.
You
for
see what I'm
football.
saying? Yeah.
I
But it
get
was
you.
right by Gaucher, so people just like used to play us all the time. Like, oh, Ocean Springs is way better. Like, dude, your school is better. Don't get me wrong. They do have a really good school
Like the
district.
facilities are nicer.
Yeah, but as far as the city of Ocean Springs, there wasn't that much shit going on. They just, remember we went downtown?
I will say that whatever that street we went when we, dude, okay,
That's new though.
bro, this man right here shut it the fuck down. We were doing karaoke,
Yeah.
right? Like it was me, Alex, boy, Gavin was there with us too, right? No, Gavin
that
was
was
there.
Preston.
Preston was there with his wife, Raven. Fucking Tony's wife was there, and like, so you know, I get up there, I do my thing or whatever. I sing like an old, like, cliche ass karaoke song,
Yeah.
right? Tony goes up there, bruh, and
R. Kelly? Did you go
Nah, I
for
wouldn't
R.
I
know
did
Kelly?
not do R. Kelly. We did
What was that name,
It was
man?
Drippin' the Finesse with Cardi B and Bruno Mars.
Bruno, bro. When I say, fam, like, and it wasn't just the singing, man. It wasn't the song. It was like everything encompassed.
The energy.
Bro, look at this man. This dude did such a good job, bro. A fight broke out outside. Just like carried on. Like,
Hey, the
real
energy,
shit.
fam. They turned up. It was the slowest fight I've ever seen, but they was banging though.
Damn. That's wild.
In Ocean
Shit was-
Springs.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm not that. Oh, in OS, damn.
Yeah.
But no, man, OS was nice. They had a lot of businesses.
It has more now, fam. Like, think about this
That's
now.
what
Like,
I'm saying.
I'm 32, bro. When I was 18, that was not there. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, this has all been developing over years. When I was younger, Goshen had a whole mall. You know what I mean?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, the mall dissipated. All of that. The economy is just different. So what they started to do, like, to make a long story short, the guy who set up the Arville and made them start to grow, he was supposed to do that in Goshen. And the figureheads in Goshen, or the politicians, or whatever you want to call them, they denied it. So that was going to be our opportunity to grow, and we basically hurt ourselves.
Yeah.
So you got the Arville that started to flourish, and Ocean Springs began to flourish.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Are these inclusive neighborhoods or inclusive areas, or are they kind of predominantly leaning one way or the other?
Nah,
Like, because I don't
good
really
mix,
know
right?
the coast,
Huh?
Would you say the coast is like a kind of a good mix in a way?
and I'm not trying to like start a
Dude,
but
this is the thing, and I'm not sure about Pascagoula, but I know about Goshen. They try to say it's inclusive because you can't really be that far away from one another.
Yeah.
But the way they set it up is, I grew up in a place called College Park.
Okay.
College Park is technically the hood, right? So as I got older, we moved to Point Clear, which is just across the way. And it's where the more, it's just more money in that area.
more
you know what I
affluent
mean?
area and shit.
It was not a lot of black people in that neighborhood. And then you have Hickory Hills, which is like a golf course where people come from all over Mississippi, to golf and stuff. But
Yeah.
a lot of people, white people, a lot of black people don't stay out there. So what I found with Goshen, it's almost like a playground for, Caucasians who have money, you know what I mean? Because they're going to win because it's cheap out there. But when you look at the other side of it, black people, like, it is nothing there, you know what I mean? So it's just like a really, really, it's a disparity. Like,
I feel you on
definitely
that. And that's why I asked that question, because like we were talking about Oak Grove earlier, man, and I'm noticing that the affluency or whatever of Oak Grove has slowly been coming down.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to say as a result of more inclusion, but it just seems like the more inclusive the school gets, the less money is in the area.
Yeah.
And it's like you're starting to see PCS grow. You're starting to see Pedal grow.
Summerall.
You're starting to see all these other. Summerall was, I'm not going to say anything negative, but like they weren't on the same level. You know, the school district, everything, dude. Like even their high school jerseys, I ain't talking shit about them. You know, you do what you do, but they've gotten nicer as more people are leaving the Oak Grove area and going out to these, what used to be outliers, you know? And it's just like, that's pretty fucked up. And that's why I wanted to ask about the Goshen thing. Like, do you think the decision to take the money and the infrastructure potentially away from that area was because they knew that it was like that? Or
I think it wasn't that they took the money out of the area. I think that like I said, the individuals who work, like the councilmen or whoever, you know what I mean? Like, it's a good old boy system. So the mayors have always been friends of the previous mayor, like the families, like you have Torgersons, you have whoever, you know what I mean? So you already know who the next man up is as far as the mayor is concerned. So I think what it was, they knew if they began to bring in new businesses and make it bigger and stuff like that, more people will start moving in, more brown people, whatever be the case, and they wouldn't have the same power. So they don't need it to be fixed. Like, if you already got your 25-foot pro line, if you already got your house on the water, you living good.
Come
you know
get
what I
your
mean?
paper.
Yeah, I don't need
Facts.
more businesses in here for, you know what I mean? I'm good.
Yeah.
So I think that was the decision. Like, they want to keep it as it is. I think that was the thing. And actually, to kind of give you a little history, Goshen and Pascagoula used to be one school. So they call it Pascagoula School District now because they separated two because they wanted their own mayor, essentially. You know what I mean? So
I feel you on that.
it's that kind of thing. It's always about money.
Damn, it's like the fact that you can do that.
Honestly, man,
The
that's
fact that, like, hold up, y'all. I want to be married. I'm gonna buy this house. I'm gonna start off with this house.
Yeah.
I'm in charge.
I'm in charge, yeah.
Charlie, you know I need that mayorship, so.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what they tried to do in Oak Grove too, man. They tried to make it its own city. We don't even have a fucking fire department, dude.
Yeah.
Like, how are you gonna try to vote in a city? You don't have your own. You don't have a volunteer. Well, we have a volunteer fire department now, but at the time there was no fire department. There's no police force. So you'd have to start a fire department, train. Start a police force, train. Like all of these service, like community service people in the area that we just didn't have. I don't know, man. I think it was bullshit. But I feel like we're also kind of like getting kind of far off. But I mean, like with the, I do feel though, like with everybody. I mean, I know you had your inclusion or not inclusion, but like your time spent around a lot of white people, and then Renard, just from having a conversation with you before, I know the same thing. I do feel though that like, even though as we grew up, like that we kind of realized like the bullshit things that we didn't see as a child. But I do feel like, man, I don't know if I'd want to change it because it kind of opened my eyes to a lot of different shit, good and bad.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. I just think it is very interesting. When I look at Oak Grove itself is the same way that I look at most schools, but Oak Grove is a fine example because the way I've always seen it from the time that I've been here, and I don't know for sure, correct me if I'm wrong, I always saw it as it was a group of people that was like, hey, this is ours. Y'all stay the fuck over there.
Hattiesburg.
I'm creating this. Exactly. We're creating this so that we can have our own and we don't have to look at y'all. Yeah, we'll go to the mall. Yeah, we'll pull up. You know, we'll go to certain places. But majority, hey, hopefully we can get our own Walmart. Hopefully we can get our own.
Which we did.
Right. I didn't even know that.
Got our own movie theater.
Yeah,
which we did.
Yeah. So,
it's crazy.
But that's the same way I look at it. So the way Pascagoula was, it was like a good mix. It was like, essentially Pascagoula was all the people that lived in Moss Point, like family, that wanted to go to a better school district. And the messed up part about it was you had people that were in Moss Point. You would have like white people that were in Moss Point that lived in Moss Point but will go to school in Pascagoula. So that was essentially what it was, because Moss Point for a long, long time, I think it's accredited now, it wasn't even an accredited high school.
That's crazy.
Right? Like, it was really messed up because if you go to Moss Point, everything, of course, like on the coast has gotten a lot better than what it was. You go to Moss Point, there was literally nothing there. There was nothing.
But to his point, so honestly, yeah, I was around white people. You learn some things of the white culture or whatever, but I think sometimes we think that if you were around nothing but black people that it wouldn't have been as good. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying that.
Well, not you. I'm just saying people in general. Like I've even talked to my wife about it before. You know what I mean? Like she's all about being around a lot of groups of people so you can learn more. But honestly, man, like I think sometimes the reason Moss Point was the way it was because it was like just underfunding. You know what I mean? And like
you are right, dude.
And if you have, because a lot of, like he's talking about maybe some of the Caucasian people that moved out of Moss Point, but then you had black people too moving out of Moss Point. So
they're not moving out. There are people that live in Moss Point.
Well, I'm saying going to school.
Oh, I got you.
But yeah, so it's like we see that with the HBCUs right now. Like some of our best athletes are going to these, D1, whatever you want to call it, football or whatever program instead of playing at the HBCUs, and we kind of look down upon it like, oh, the education ain't the same, their football team suck. Well, hell, the bigger schools that don't even really care about us are taking all of our talent.
Shit, man, exposure, you know what I'm saying? Coaching staff. You are right, it starts at the base, right? What do you have to offer, whether it be a college football prospect or a family moving their kid that's going to go to school in your district, right? What do I have to offer you? And it's a selling point, you know what I'm saying? But you are right. It's maybe not so much the people or the area, but what is in the area.
The resources.
Right.
What's good?
It's the resources.
Yeah. The infrastructure available.
The only reason why we have money is because of the shipyard. One point we had a military base. One point we had a military base, which it was even kind of better then.
You talking about the? I don't really know too much about Pascagoula.
People live in Hattiesburg and work at the shipyard.
Yeah,
yes, sir. Ingalls, right?
Yep.
So just kind of to his point, what I always thought would make sense is if they set the coast up like you have like in Atlanta, you know what I mean, or like a Dallas, right? Where we don't have all these different mayors, right? We don't have all these different little cul-de-sacs of a city, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
But if we all were one, I'm talking about Gulfport all the way down to Moss Point. and we just gave them zones, but we all were able to get resources from the casinos.
Zone 6.
Get resources from the shipyard. You know what I mean? Now you don't have such a disparity between these cities. Everybody's getting the same amount of money, so the schools will be better.
Breaking bread. And then at that point, you're going to have more. At that point, you're getting more diversity because there's no reason not to live in, like you say, Moss Point, or no reason not to live in Gaucher because the school district's going to be about the same. You know what I'm saying? The shopping is going to be about the same. You know what I mean? The housing market's going to be about the same.
Yeah,
I feel you on that, man, because if you go to Dallas, I mean, yeah, Dallas has some pretty rough spots, but I mean, even from what I've seen and from people I've talked to that live in that area, even if, like, it's a rougher area over here, they're still able to go to school over here and bring that shared knowledge back to their area. Yeah, dude, I fuck with that.
The problem with that is they're not going to have the full control that they want.
And that's all it is. You know what I mean?
This literally goes into the conversation me and Sean, we was talking about through text about, I got to send it to you. You know who Candace Owens is? There's an interview, well, you said that. Like, There's an interview with Candace Owens and Russell Brand. It's fucking amazing. Must watch. And what I was saying in general is, okay, let me just get into it. Pretty much they were talking about the structure of the government and what would be a perfect structure of the government. And like we're saying is, you're saying that we should make it all kind of together.
To Tony's point, for sure.
And fund the resources. And I broke it down to, and I don't know, I guess this is kind of, in a sense, kind of like I don't know if it's communist, but I think that we should make it as independent as possible. For instance, let's just use this room. Let's just say we are funded by the government. We have $10,000, right? The government gives us. We can decide what pictures we hang on the wall. We can decide the way that we're policed. We can decide if we want free breakfast every morning, and we can decide in some format like the type of education that we receive. And I bring up that just to say I feel like a lot of the issue comes with people not being in control of what they are actually doing.
What their tax dollars are going to.
What their tax dollars going to. Yeah. They don't have the full control.
And what people are you talking about? Like
the dissidents, like the people that live in that area. Like, prime example, man. Like, okay, so where Alex lives, right? Because it's next to that new school, right? Where you stayed at, because it was next to that new school. Like, the roads, I mean, they weren't like banging, but they were nicer than if you were to go down 7th, maybe 10 minutes. I'm talking potholes that are tearing your fucking rims up. You know what I mean? Like, the way that they're clearing the trees away from the road, like, nobody gives a shit, but they're still contributing tax dollars. So I think what my man is getting at, or this is at least how I took it, like, in my area, right, I feel like how J. Cole said, like, why do we not have an app where it's like my 12% or whatever I'm paying in taxes, I would like to allocate my yearly earnings from that you took my taxes out of to go to this, this, and this.
Yep.
Right? How easy would it be to delegate those funds?
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep. It's just like, why don't we have more control over what's right in front of us? It shouldn't be this much of a struggle to get things that you want.
I also just realized the point, though.
Yeah.
We kind of do have that infrastructure in place, but, like, it's bullshit. Like, you just go to a town hall meeting.
I was getting there. I'm waiting on it. But, like, this is the thing.
You know, but, like...
It's nothing. You going to a town hall meeting doesn't do anything.
Okay. I completely agree. I'm not all about politics, but I'm going to tell you the way it works. So the only way you do what you're trying to say is, you know what I mean, if you want a voice, technically the way the system is set up, you have to get some part of the government. So be it like you can run for alderman, you can run for councilman or whatever, and we just begin to vote our people into the system.
Like the Irish did.
Like the Irish did, or it was a story about these Buddhist people a while back. I'm not going to go into the whole story, but they went to a place in Seattle. They bought a whole piece of property or whatever, and the people were giving them grief. So they were like, well, what we'll do is we'll just start voting ourselves. And
Are you talking about Wild Country?
I think so. Yeah. Wild
amazing,
Country.
amazing documentary.
Is this a book or it's a documentary?
Amazing,
bro? So
amazing documentary.
They basically take up all the seats, and now you can't mess with them, right?
Yo,
because they got the power.
That's one thing that I noticed about that documentary that was so cold. Now, I will say this: when we're looking at the power that we actually do have, us not understanding it, I agree on that end, because literally, like he said,
was gangster.
It was
That
like
does sound gangster.
it was a religious group, right?
It was a cult.
It was a cult. I don't know why I said
It was definitely
I
a
feel
cult.
like I outed myself just now. But it was a cult, and they literally had people already. And they moved into the town. They moved into this most country town in the middle of nowhere, and it's just all these people looking at them like, what are they doing? They all wore red, and it was weird as fuck. And like he said, they literally just started. They had bread, so they literally just started buying up shit fast. It wasn't even. That's what was crazy about me is how fast it was. A year or two?
Not to cut you off because I want you to finish, but that is the argument y'all is having. That's the answer in a nutshell.
Yo.
You bring your resources together.
Coming
you
to
start
conclusions. Coming to conclusions, man.
Yeah, you put your resources together, you start buying up stuff, because can't nobody stop you from starting a business. Can't nobody stop you from buying property like they used to be able to with like the red taping or whatever, red line, I'm sorry. But now you buy you some property and then you start to infiltrate the government. Like that's literally what you do.
They did do that at Black Wall Street.
And that is exactly what the Irish did too whenever they established Tammany Hall.
I think we should try it again. I think that, sometimes you date a girl and you break up and you're like, oh, if we would have dated a little bit later on in life, you know what I mean? If you dated at 15 versus 22, things are different. Yes, I think that we should try it again. Like, I honestly do. Like, I don't think it's easy by any means, but I think we got way more money.
We do have, black people's spending power is like, I want to say, let me see my laptop. I want to say that the black dollar is the most slept on dollar.
Thought it was.
That's pretty good. Yeah, it's there.
It's nuts. Dude.
Maybe $3 billion. I might be overdoing it. Anyway, my thing with that though is we can
$5
do
trillion.
But the problem, and I think now maybe it would be better. But the problem is, they're probably maybe not burn it down. They may not bomb it. But I do feel like there will be people, there will be individuals that are going to they're going to pay very, very close attention to us. And they're going to wait for one mistake to happen, a mistake that probably everybody makes. The second thing that's going to be an issue is the biggest thing ever is the fact that we need to actually come together.
So that's the thing, and hear me out. I'm gonna make this really short, but I've been thinking about this for so long. So to kind of combat what you're saying about coming together, yes, we can't. Everybody can't be the chief. Like, we need to go ahead and figure out, put levels to it, develop a system, whatever you need to do. But we have to work together because we need the banks, we need this. But what if we did this? Just like I'm talking about infiltrating the police system. There was a study, dude. I'm not the police. I'm sorry. The council or whatever, city council. But there was a study in Florida, and they found I think 70% of the police force were KKK members. Which is brilliant, right? If your goal is
that's what you're trying to do.
Exactly. So if you want to get some form of power or to police your own, why wouldn't you infiltrate the police system? Why wouldn't you have your own architects? Why wouldn't you have your own banks, your own engineers? Like, that's what we need more of. And I think we've kind of shot ourselves in the foot for a long time because we have a lot of people who have degrees, but we don't have individuals who have maybe specialized things. Like, we have a few doctors here and there, a few nurse practitioners, maybe even a few engineers, etc. But if we were strategically telling our kids, almost like tiger parents, dude, this is what you're gonna do. You know what I mean? And we just push out so many.
I agree, but it's easy to infiltrate a system when you created the system.
Well, no, because the Irish didn't create the system in the United States.
But they were a part of the system.
No, they weren't.
They weren't originally.
When they first got here, dude, they were treated.
Name an Irish person. Do you know an Irish person? Name one Irish person.
In my current life? Nah, not off top.
Exactly. But you know an Irish person.
Well, Liam Neeson, but he also is racist.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is that was crazy. The worst example. But no, the point that I'm making is what happened when we got here is we became that target. We became the enemy. You get what I'm saying? So, yes. I'm reading the autobiography. I'm gonna keep bringing it up until I'm done reading it. The autobiography of Malcolm X, and he was talking about the Jewish people, right? And he was talking about how whenever a black person entered the community and wanted to be a part of the community, the Jewish community, even though they said they were for us, they were with us, they would be a part of the rally in order to make sure that person wasn't able to come in the community.
I do want to say we just need to make sure we don't teeter into like anti-Semitism.
That's what they said to Malcolm X. Fuck y'all, I'm not doing that. Okay, I'm just saying. All I'm saying is the Jewish were racist.
Question.
That's all I'm saying. Jews don't need to be racist.
Well, yeah. So I don't care. I'm not trying to get in trouble, but. What are we talking about? Anti-Semitic. What is exactly? What
so
is
like
don't fuck with Jews.
I'm not saying don't fuck with Jews.
Yeah, we getting there.
Jew-ish.
I want to tell me
don't
what
call
you
them
got.
Jews.
I just don't want. All right, so like I feel like
Why,
Jewish people
though?
get this shtick for.
Black people get a stick.
They
Check
got control.
me out. I feel like
The
Jewish
difference is
people.
Jews got control. They're not playing.
I feel like Jewish people, hell, Asian people, and Hispanics. Because the older I've gotten, I see similarities in those three groups, and then I guess you can just throw white Americans in as well. But I see honestly every group in the United States, with the exception of Black American, African Americans, Black Americans, however you feel like identifying yourself, whatever. But like, as working in a community, man. Jewish people come together, they work together.
No, bro. So we can't even do that because
What you mean?
we ain't got no fucking community, bro. Like
We do have okay, let me say it like this. We have a culture, right?
Bro.
A culture in and of itself is stronger than a community because what births a culture?
we have
me
a
out,
culture. We do have a culture, but we don't have a. Okay, one thing that I love about Hispanics, right, and one thing that they took away from us, and it was fucking genius, is they took away our true identity. You get what I'm saying? When you're talking about Hispanics, if you play a song in with a group of Hispanics, they're gonna be like, oh, I know this song. My grandma played this song. The same thing with Black people, but it's not gonna be the same camaraderie. Like it's a cult. Like they came from. They still know their parents.
Well, they were allowed
bro.
to
We
still.
We don't
have that, bro.
We don't know our
Exactly.
grandparents.
We don't know. We don't even know where
I
we
do
came
know our
from.
I know what you're saying though.
yeah.
We can't go back
Our
like
ancestors.
they can go
We
back.
don't know our ancestors.
That's what I'm saying. So
Right.
we have African American culture, but we don't know our true African culture. You know what I mean? That's what's kind of frustrating because we've developed this from thoughts and theories of the white man,
Exactly.
right? Like even
Yep.
Christianity.
Oh,
Yeah, perfect quote.
Facto.
Perfect quote. Malcolm X said, if you don't know yourself, then the world won't know who you are.
Shit, man. You could even go off of that. I don't know if this has been put down somewhere, but if you don't know yourself, then somebody else can tell you who you are.
Yeah,
That's what's
yeah.
going on. So that's
Right.
what I'm getting at, dude. Like literally, we can't even talk about because I've heard that a lot. Like people like Black people can't even have their own thing. They let these Indian people come in and do this, and the Asian people have Chinatown. Like, dude, we can't do it because we ain't never had nothing. You know what I mean? Like we don't have that sense of community. Like we had the Black Wall Street, but a lot of people didn't even know about that. It wasn't a time where we had internet, right? So you got people in Mississippi that probably even know what was going down. So it's like we've never just had this thing. Like, it's so aggravating. You know what I mean? So and then people get mad at you for you acting the way that actually has been taught to you to act.
Right.
You are right. Through movies.
It's not fair.
Through artists or musicians that were selected to be put on a large platform. Yeah, man, I fuck with it.
And how great is that we've still found a way to be here and we're still around. We're still creating stuff. We're still making money.
and still influencing the world.
Still influencing the world. Like after all that.
But the problem is we don't have a leader. When is the last time
They kill him.
the Black community has had a leader?
They killed him. Malcolm X was probably one of the strongest.
That's my point. That's my point. It's like we want to. I wish we could just be like, oh, all people. What I'm saying is, the only way we can come together is if we make a leader. We have to have one person in sync and in charge to say, hey, we moving over there.
Well, I think it has to be one. I think we can do a board, right? I think we treat this just like you treat a Fortune 500 company.
It's always a board. It's always a board. But I'm saying you have to have a face.
A figurehead.
You have to have a face. And you have to have someone that, of course, if you're any smart leader is going to have people.
You got to have them around you.
Right.
But I think in 2020, like, I don't think we can take that same approach because we need everybody to kind of know, like, check me out. If we had a board, right, we all there's no CEO, there's no president, it's just us.
True.
We own 33%, 33.3%, every one of us, right? You know what I know what you know what he knows. In order for you to fuck this triangle up, they would have to kill all three of us. You know what I mean?
Facts.
If they kill you, we still good. We train another 3.3 and we still rocking and rolling. I think that's the way you kind of combat this. You know what I mean? Now with the Black Panthers, yes, they just killed a whole bunch of them motherfuckers. I get that, but I think that in 2020, if you want to do this, we like Al Sharpton. Not everybody's going to agree with Christianity. Farrakhan, not everybody's going to agree with the Muslim faith. you can't. It's so much going on. You know what I mean? That I think you just need to have a representation of each type of person. You know what I mean? Like, so that we can move forward.
I agree. I think with what they gave us now, we are forced to do that. But see, the problem is they have created this separation. And that's what's so crazy. And even now, especially, there is such a separation from like who we actually are. You know, you have people that are, for instance, they may, like you said, the Muslim religion. You have people that are a part of, different ideals, whether it be Republic, whether it be Democratic. We are so Americanized that it is almost impossible. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's almost impossible for us to create that sense. So yeah, creating a board would work, but it's like the trust. Well, we need an individual we can have. What is the three things? Ethos, pathos.
You talking about like the psychology?
Yeah, psychology, speech.
Ethos, pathos, and something else.
We need someone that we can look at. The thing about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X is we believed in them. That's what we need. We need someone and something to believe in.
But we need a blend of both.
This is my problem though, man. Whenever you have a board for the term we're using right now, I mean, shit, dude, we got the NAACP, man. But I mean, they're so easily fucking exactly. That's the point. That's why I waited because we were talking this whole time and nobody said shit about them because like.
This is 2020. But the thing that's cool about what's going on right now, and you talking about identity, these young dudes, they got a different view of this, bro. Like, you got a whole bunch of Malcolm X's versus, a whole bunch of Huey Newtons versus a whole bunch of Martin Luther Kings. And nothing against Martin. I think we needed him to get to where we are. I think now you just have so many kids, more kids that are educated, more kids that have the technology to talk.
That don't realize that subservience isn't necessary any longer.
Scared.
Yes,
they
sir.
are not scared.
Yes,
and that's what the beautiful thing is now. Because, like, I always tell my wife, said, if I ever get killed for, some bullshit, they say I hung myself or something, and I'm never going to do that. I said, y'all better burn this motherfucker down.
Yes, sir.
And that's what is going on right now.
Yeah.
Like, we tired of this shit. Like, we ain't trying to hurt nobody, dude. But if you just keep killing us, what we're supposed to do is keep bending over and letting you've done this for 400 years.
Turn my cheek. You killed my father. I turned his cheek.
Dude, that's what Buddy said on the country, the cult thing. The Buddy, like, that's why I like the cult dude. The dude who's over the cult, he said, I don't believe in that shit.
Yeah, no.
He said, no. He said, turn the other cheek. He said, hell no, I'll slap two of yours. Like, straight up, we're not playing this no more.
He really was the most peaceful, aggressive person.
Yeah. I mean, you can be peaceful as long as you're left alone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the issue.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers think they can just say whatever they want to say. Like when who was that dude that got shot in his own apartment and that white lady, the cop?
I don't know his name.
And his brother hugged that bitch?
That was aggravating.
I would never in my life.
The judges gave him a woman a Bible.
Bro.
So you saying I can get away with slapping the shit out of you? I'm gonna act like I'm hugging you, then slap the shit out of you. Like you kid, bro.
I don't even want her to go to jail.
And nobody would have judged him for slapping her.
Yeah, well, he would have gotten some time.
Yeah, he would.
Would you have getting some? Okay, you get time for slapping. I feel like I'll take 3 days. I'll take 3 days.
I hear what you're saying.
No longer than 3 days. But I can slap a white woman if she kills my fucking brother.
At this
I feel like
point,
that's fair.
we have to be so strategic though with it. Like
we do.
That wasn't the right move by him, but slapping her wouldn't have been it. Like we need, like I said, strategic. We need lawyers. Like we need to be
There's
so
nothing
lawyered
you can
up.
do.
Huh?
She got 5 years,
bro.
for murder.
No, she got 10.
Yeah. But
She's
George
gonna do
Zimmerman,
5.
She got 5 years.
George Zimmerman didn't get
She
anything.
got 5 years. There is no T.I. said it the best. He's like, I got an uncle that got 20 years for breaking and entering.
Yo, motherfuckers doing life for crack, fam.
20 years.
But y'all
Life.
But y'all missing it. Y'all are kind of stuck on what has happened, which we already know how that shit goes.
True.
And I'm talking about how to stop it from happening. Like the way you get better convictions on shit is you get people that look like you in the DA. You know what I mean? You need more lawyers that turn into judges. Like you just need more brown people in every aspect of life. Then when you have these cases that come up, this judge is like, motherfucker, people was racist to me my whole life. Now, I hate to say this, but when you see, I don't know if y'all ever seen like a old white judge, right? And he has like little granddaughters. Well, if you come in there and somebody's accused you of raping somebody who reminds him of his little granddaughters, he's going to throw the book at you. And it's just something you can't turn off. Like no matter how much you're supposed to take an oath as a judge, you can't turn it off because it hits you. You know what I mean?
Personal experiences, hidden prejudices, all that shit. Yeah.
So think about a black man who's become a judge who's been like discriminated against. So I'm not I'm not advocating for him to take advantage of people, but I'm pretty sure he would give them the proper sentences.
Yeah, at least do what he's supposed to do, not any lesser, but not an excess.
Exactly.
I feel you on that.
The way that the system is formatted, none of it makes sense.
Well, I mean,
Even if you just look at it as a standard, none of it makes sense.
What do you mean?
Like the years. So okay, you can get a specific time for killing someone, like he said. Then you get life. What I'm saying is the whole entire system is flawed. Yes, you can get more judges, but you will never. And that's my problem with this. We as black people, the minority, will never be able to substantially have more or equally the same amount of judges, of lawyers, of policemen as white people. There's no way.
But hear me out. So I think it was less than 3% or less than 12% in the entire United States district attorneys that were black, right?
Right.
So that means these people who couldn't afford an attorney, whenever they were going to court, they were appointed some white man who may not be able to relate to him at all and just didn't give a fuck, was just there to get this over with, to get his check, his $80,000 a year.
Right.
What I'm saying is, yes. Or am I saying that's going to stop black people from going to jail at a larger rate? Probably not. But what I'm saying is when they get to that jail, instead of them getting 20 years for some bullshit, they may get a year and a half.
Why would they get a year and a half?
Because I'm saying if you have somebody there who has a more vested interest in your culture.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
in your representation. That's the main thing.
12% is not accounting all the black individuals that are in towns where there are not a lot of lawyers that are looking like them.
What I think Tony's saying, man, is like, okay, so as just a black citizen in my state, right, or in my city, and you know what I'm saying? If I'm walking down the street, I get hit with some bullshit charge, right, and now I've got to find representation, whether it be paid representation or state appointed or county appointed representation. If I've got more of a pool to choose from, and I can pick from not just a super expensive lawyer who happens to share the same face as me, but like middle of the road, or maybe even like a beginning lawyer who I can afford, or the state appointed lawyers that are also looking and have a similar experience to me, it's not necessarily true or 100% that they're going to have a vested interest in me, but they're going to have a more understanding of, well, maybe I took this route for this reason because they might have a friend who had a cousin that did that shit. Or they might have a friend whose uncle was doing that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm talking about specifically numbers. Specifically.
What you mean?
I mean, okay, 12. 100 lawyers. There's 100 lawyers.
And 12 of them are black.
There's 100 judges, and 12 of those are black.
Less than 12 of those are black.
Less than 12 of those are black. So that's what I'm saying. It's like you can never. So okay, I'm walking into the chances of me getting a lawyer that looks like me or getting a judge that looks like me it is very unlikely.
But that's my point.
That's the problem.
That's what I'm saying.
But what I'm saying, 12%. We can't all be lawyers.
No,
you are right.
But
The most important thing is bills. We need to get laws passed. But what my point is,
Well, I don't think the legislation is going to solve an issue because
the
like
system.
Well, no, check me out though. Legislation is not going to solve an issue, and I hate this comparison, dude. And I'm going to say I hate it because the shared experiences are not the same.
Right.
But for some reason, the LGBTQ, nothing against that community, but for some reason, our experience is always connected to that experience, which I think is bullshit.
Not even the same.
It's not the same. I can't hide my blackness. You know what I'm saying? I can't do that. Not that I'm saying that they should, but I'm just saying like, you can.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Right.
And so like, excuse me, that's an issue that they're going through right now because their movement is on fire right now. But you can write in all the legislation you want. You're not going to change how I view a trans person or a queer person or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We can write in all the legislation we want.
But when I say legislation, I mean laws. We need to change.
But that's the problem. You can't write a law for how I feel internally.
Got you.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then at the end of the day,
exactly.
I
so
can
even if, and I know we're not going to get 100% black, right? But if we just had 50%, just to represent the population,
or even 50%,
that's not possible. That's what I'm saying. That is not possible.
How is it not possible?
Because we are literally the minority.
No, my nigga, check me out.
White people are actually the minority now. Mexicans are on the up and up.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about black. This is what I'm talking about. Black people and us. In order for us to get a just day in court, what I'm talking about is what we want to do what we're trying to do is work with a system that is against us.
Like Latino people. Latino
I
people.
get what
are
you're
up and
saying,
up.
but what I'm getting at is that this is part of the system, right? So if we had more, and this is just one thing, I'm not even talking about politics. I'm not even getting into that right now.
The police force.
Yeah, I'm just talking specifically about when somebody goes to jail and they cannot, which is a majority of them, cannot afford a lawyer. They're going to appoint you this white guy who does not have your best interest at heart. Maybe some of them, 5% of them, but 9 times out of 10, they think he's doing the same thing Buddy did last week. I ain't got time to waste on this. I don't care what you did, if you did or not. We're going to take this plea deal. You're going to jail. I'm saying
that's the best we can do.
That's the best we can do.
I am not saying it would not help.
Okay.
What I'm saying is there's nothing. Okay, I'm not trying to be negative, but there's no way that it's not going to be irregular. Like, my chances are always going to be lower
when
we're talking about the numbers.
In Hattiesburg right now, it's the district attorney. His name is DeCarlo Hood. He's black.
Right.
So right now, your ass go to jail in Hattiesburg, you got a good chance on having a black dude represent you. He is trying to get more. Like, I've talked to him about this. Like, I've talked to Trey Baker, who's working with Joe Biden. I don't care too much about Joe Biden. I'll be completely honest about it.
If you don't vote for me, you're not black.
But my point is,
that shit was crazy.
But just having this conversation with them, that is part of it. Like, we just need more. I'm not saying it's gonna happen every time, but if it happened just twice, where you
that's what I'm telling you. Just twice doesn't help.
But it does on the incarceration.
It's gotten better.
Help.
No, it doesn't.
What we're talking about,
rate,
bro. Think about what you just said.
What y'all saying is we're accepting what we can get.
No,
that's what
not.
you're saying.
No, I'm not.
We're striving for more, but accepting what comes along.
To say, but
Like,
what I'm saying is to say that we can get even 50%. You're saying that we can get 50%.
He's not saying tomorrow.
No.
So like in 5 years.
That's what I'm saying.
Say in 5 years' time, we go from 6% representation of black faces to 8%.
It could be 8%. I'm good with that. That's growth.
Dude.
That's the problem. Why are you good with that?
Bro.
That is so many
But
people that are
that's
getting
thinking,
time in jail, that are getting locked up, is getting life in prison.
The thinking you got is not, like, you're not thinking about progression. Like, if you keep thinking, oh, that's not great, and we're not doing that, like, we can't talk about what's not great. We need to do some shit.
Have we gotten better?
Have we gotten better at what?
Have we moved forward since Martin Luther King was killed?
Yes.
Okay.
Prime example.
So that's my problem. So what is my problem is what we want to. All we want is for it to be fair. I'm not asking for us to move further. I'm like, how do we make it fair? What you're saying is we need to. Yes, more lawyers, more judges will help, but the system is so fucked up,
dude. What I'm saying is this is gonna take time. Like, just hear me out.
It's been taking time.
Right.
How long we gonna wait?
Bro,
How long?
I don't know what else to tell you. But
You get what I'm saying? How long?
I'm not the president, right?
But even the president can't do. The system is flawed.
Okay, so
that is my point. That is my point.
Okay, so I'm sure you understand how politics works. Like,
yes.
how legislation, all that works. It ain't that easy. Like, you have so many people that can veto. That's not gonna vote and stuff. You have to get people in place to help you do that.
You are trying to work with the system. That's what I'm saying.
There's no option, my brother.
There is an option. There is an option. We already brought up the first option.
Unless we
already brought up the first option. Black Wall Street was the option,
bro.
That was the
you're
option.
still in America,
we
my
can't,
guy.
But what I'm saying is we can't.
Bro.
So we can't literally. What I'm saying is if I go to jail right now, if I have to go in front of a judge. You know for a fact, every person in here knows that I am not going to be placed with the same dignity as another individual.
Which is another reason he brought up, man, more black-owned banks, dog.
Bro,
you
like,
go into a place where you are visually represented.
Black-owned banks, I agree with.
Bro,
any type of financial security, I agree with.
Just hear my
I'm not
vision.
agreeing with more.
But, I mean, it's on multiple platforms.
Right.
Protection of your money, protection of your freedoms.
And don't get me wrong, I understand it helps. I'm agreeing with you. It helps. I know it does help. But what we're playing, it's like we're playing a game. This is what we're doing. We're playing Monopoly,
bro,
right?
We're behind.
And we're starting off with $5.
Bro,
and
we're starting off with $0. We are so behind.
We're starting off with $0.
So we're trying to infiltrate the system.
3 times to get a piece of property.
Yeah,
Like, it's
bro,
like
like,
that.
how long have we been like literally, we get that you're upset. I'm upset.
No, it's
but
not
at
even
some
about
point-
being upset. It's
but
not
I
about
hear
being
you,
upset.
But we have to get to a point to where we think about this strategically. Like, how can we infiltrate this? Once we get in there, boom! Now it's like the damn Trojan horse. Like, we're in this bitch. Let's go ahead and make some things shake. Like,
by saying, why are we? I get what you're. What I'm saying is, we've been doing this.
not so much. Not so much.
I'm gonna tell you what group's been doing this. Women have been doing this, and I'm not.
LGBTQ has been doing this.
We can't do that.
No,
we can't
check me
say
out,
women
fam.
have been doing this.
Check me out, fam. And when I say by doing this, I don't mean representation of the black community. What I mean is taking the steps necessary to pull themselves out of the situation they feel like they were in a lesser than position. Right, so that means
They
more
did that with
professors,
us, and they
more
left us
people.
behind.
Women in law enforcement, women in the armed forces, women in political positions. Once you start seeing that representation, one, it's harder to dismiss them.
You can't compare women to black people.
I'm not comparing
because
women.
are half. They're almost more. They're more.
There are more women on earth.
You
Than
can't
dudes.
compare that.
But I'm not getting at the women's plight compared to the black man's plight or the black community's plight. I'm not doing that because they're completely different, right?
Right.
What I'm getting at is just the word plight, right? They recognized the problem. Overall, there was a problem that was recognized, and enough have come in, spoke, and put in the foot time to try to get out of it. And if you look right now, man, women in Western societies, so like North America, so I mean the United States and Canada, and then women in like Western Europe, so really just like white ladies, I don't want to just like put it like that, but that's what it is, are some of the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Most benefited people in the world right now, man. They really are. And I mean, it's really because they went out and just did something. Yeah, they didn't have as many hurdles to jump over. They weren't being killed at a rate or incarcerated at a rate that we are. But I mean,
the history behind women being able to vote. There was a point of time when women and the black agenda were on the same level.
Well, I mean, you always knew that women's suffrage was going to get a higher level than the black movement because that was their wives out there burning bras and walking through the streets. If Karen's outside making you look stupid, you're like, Karen, bring your ass back inside. No, Bill, I want to vote. And enough Karens get together, bro, they're going to vote. Huh?
Right, I got you. But even I just don't think, honestly, I don't even think comparing women. I don't think that's a good comparison.
I do.
I don't think that's a good comparison.
I do.
Because women, you're saying you're using a gender to compare a minority race.
I'm not. But see, you have to focus in one more level, one more click on the microscope. Don't look at gender and cultural differences. Don't look at any of that. Just look at a problem or a plight and another problem and another plight. Right. And if you look, white women, talking specific, because we're talking women's suffrage, that's really what that was, were put in a subservient role. They weren't allowed to do anything because they weren't viewed as full humans. And they had to kind of accept. Yes,
they were still viewed as full humans.
No, they weren't.
They were still viewed as full humans.
They were viewed higher than a black man.
You can't convince me.
No, sir. I can, though. They were viewed higher than a black person because it's a white woman, but it's still a white woman, though. You see what I'm saying? So, like, you had white dudes, white women, right? And then like everybody else.
You know why? You know why this is impossible? It's because you're saying white women were still next to the power.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
You can't tell me white women can be compared to a black person.
I'm not gonna
who was
argue white
lynched.
women. I just don't
They
want
were
to get into white women.
They were outside. They were outside looking at the hung bodies. They was out there too.
They were around during the lynchings.
They were smiling in the pictures.
Look, now, I'm not advocating for white women's rights.
They were. What I'm saying is,
trying to box me in.
I'm not trying to box you in. I'm just saying you cannot compare.
White women may not be the best thing to bring up.
That's a bad comparison.
I see what you was trying to do, but
you see what I was trying to do?
They done been in the whole damn time.
They have been sharing in the privilege. They've been in the hot tub.
This is what I mean, yo. Yo, Dave Chappelle said it the best way. They haven't even acknowledged what they did wrong. The only way to tear down a system, this is what he said, the only way to tear down a system and the only way to fix a system is for everybody to raise their hand and tell you what part they played in the system of fucking the system up.
But see, that's the cool thing, though, and that's the point, bro, that's not going to happen. Right?
Okay? So that's my point. So what okay, I understand that yes, we need someone on all sides. We need a Malcolm, we need a Martin, we need someone that's a lawyer,
Yes.
we need a president. I get that.
We need a team.
I'm not arguing with that.
Okay.
But we need to look beyond this. We will always. I'm not gonna say we will always be a minority, but more than likely we will always be the minority. So what we have been doing, and the only time that we weren't doing that is when we had the Black Wall Street, and there was another one. I wish I can remember it. Tulsa. Well, yeah, Tulsa is black. Anyway,
Yeah, it is.
there's another one.
About,
Yeah. But anyway, the only.
It's about to be real.
Sorry.
No, you good?
What was I saying? Oh, the only way that we can do it is if we create our own. Of course, yes, we're in America, so we have to play by the system. But that's why the beginning of the argument, was us coming together, creating our own community, just like the Wild Country. And we are going to, yes, we are using their system, but we need to be in control of the system. There's no way that we can be within their system and within their system. I guess what I'm talking about, and this sounds horrible, but I'm going to say it. I guess we're talking about, in a sense, like a self-segregation. That is the only way.
Buddy.
That is the only way.
But
and I'm not talking about you know what I'm saying.
But I know what you're saying. But think about Atlanta for a second. Have you seen that documentary on Mayor Maynard? I think his name is.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it. What's the name of it?
I'll check it out. I just Googled Mayor Maynard. Basically, he came in, black mayor, back in the like 70s or 80s, and basically. You heat it? So he came in and basically did exactly what I'm telling y'all. He came into Atlanta. He became a black mayor. He basically had control of stuff. So he was like, with the airport, right?
Yeah.
It's named after him. He said, y'all are not going to build this airport unless half of the individuals that are working on it are represented by, African Americans. Yeah. So basically, the white dudes came out like, man, there's no black companies that know how to build, landing strips and stuff like that.
Right.
He said, well, I know some black people that know how to lay some concrete. So he basically set that city up through businesses. Like, he had that much power. The businesses that came in, stuff like that. Basically, in a nutshell, he made people work with black people. And looking back 30, 40 years later, that's probably the blackest city in the United States.
Thanks.
And it's one of the best economies.
Yeah.
Okay. What about Black Renaissance? You could call that the second Black Renaissance. So it started first in like Harlem and shit.
Harlem, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Fuck, dude.
But check it out. Everything. See, I never even knew that. So you just go to Atlanta and be like, damn, just black people must have migrated here. No shit, they migrated because Buddy set it up for them.
Yep. Right. He made it possible for them to get it done.
So my question is, Atlanta, they have black leaders. They have individuals that are making black legislation. Essentially, it is in itself like a Black Wall Street.
Yeah, essentially that's what I was getting.
That's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing. Now I'm with you. But what I'm saying is,
the same thing.
Yeah, this is what I think. I think that if we're going to go into a house full of, I'm not going to call them my enemies or people that are not for us, but it's like we're trying to come in and like get little positions to slowly build up.
I think that's a problem in the black community. But I'm gonna stop you right there.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
What's the problem? What's the problem?
It's not balling to lay concrete. It's not glamorized. You see what I'm saying? Perfect example, Young Jock. Young Jock is a perfect example.
Yeah.
He started off, man, he was making music. He was idolized by the community.
Yeah.
Whatever happened, I'm not going to say he fell off or anything like that, but whatever happened.
Life happened,
right? And also at a time where the music industry was super predatory, so they probably took all of his masters, all this shit, which had he had more like mentors or something like that into his disposal, he probably would have known how to better deal with that, right? But that's neither here nor there. But so now he's driving Uber. Nothing wrong with that.
Who, Lil Jon?
Young Jock.
Oh,
now he's driving Uber. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. He's making an honest living. He's able to support himself.
Yeah.
And no one can take his earnings away from him. He can't be put up for that.
Right.
And some people recorded him when he picked him up,
making fun of him
and clowning his ass.
Yeah, his own people, whatever. Yeah,
that's fucked up.
I don't
and
think that's fucked up.
I think to clown on him.
I'm not saying. I mean, you look at it and be like, bro, you think that's fucked up.
You really did.
I'm saying. I mean, it's Young Jock. What are you doing?
He's doing what he's got to do.
I get that. I get where y'all coming from, but y'all don't think
can't
Young
win
Jock
every
can do more
season.
than be an Uber?
I mean, but you have to think. Does he have any?
I'm not saying I don't respect. I'm not saying I don't respect that he's making. I'm not saying I don't respect what he's doing. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, okay, we're kind of getting off topic.
No, I think this is very on topic.
I was just saying that if you get in the car, it's a Young Jock. You're like, what the fuck?
That's not the problem.
Yeah,
but at the same time, though, I think that honestly, I think it was a publicity stunt, like a PR thing.
Yeah,
so I think it was just some of that because it doesn't make any sense.
Think about it.
He's on TV. I know he's
Uber.
making at least $60 a year, so he didn't have to be driving the Uber. I think it was more to it. But the fact that our culture will kind of talk or degrade you, if you will, where you have the Hispanics who will cut grass, save all their money, live in apartments with their homies until they get right,
and then pull their money together and start a business.
And they start a business, and I think that's where we're missing it because we have so many people, like even selling drugs. You can't even get a pound with your homeboys and everybody, like, you know what I mean? It just ain't gonna work. I hate to talk about this, but you know what I'm saying?
Through music, through movies, through black representation in the media, I mean, fuck, dude, it's a relevant thing to bring up. Prime example, Paid in Full, dude. Mm-hmm. When old boy gets shot and his homeboy's like, fuck you, you mean nothing because I need you. Mm-hmm. People get shot every day, B.
Yeah.
And then after that happens and he gives his connect to Mekhi Phife, what happens? Fucking, who's that, Cameron? Cameron fucking kills him.
Yeah.
Because they can't, it's not enough. Yeah. It's not enough to work together, the camaraderie.
But they put that in us from the field nigga to, you know.
To the house nigga.
Yeah. So it's like we've been taught these things, dude. And it's just like if we could just slow down and kind of like even what he's saying, like he doesn't want to hear like it takes time. Like we're behind. The only way we can, it's not something that'll take that long.
We can do this tomorrow if we wanted to.
Huh?
That's my problem.
We
could do this.
I will say, but it would take an entire group.
That's what I'm saying.
To get to everybody and tell them this is the game
plan.
That's
my point. That's my point. What I'm saying is, what we want to do is, everybody can agree with this. We want to make sure that we have a fair advantage. We want to make sure for our children that we can leave behind a legacy, and we want to make sure we have a fair chance to do so.
But so here's
as fast as possible.
Here's part of this too, and it's funny because Alex's dad has a coworker who came by my store a while back. And she was basically, it was a black woman. She was like, what I find is a lot of black people don't have life insurance, right? That probably seems irrelevant right now to this conversation, but what it does is, if you don't have life insurance and you die, now I got to put my money together to bury your ass versus you should be dying and leaving me some money so we can get a
generational wealth.
Yeah. So it's like we just haven't been taught a lot of things financially, just educational stuff, and that's like
I'm agreeing.
So we did talk about that in another episode.
Yeah. I mean, I'm agreeing. Financial literacy, intellect. That is so definitely important. Key. Education is important. Now I'm with you. Mm-hmm. Now I'm with you because that leads to you being able to go and open up a bank.
Boom.
That now I'm with you. But what I'm saying is
But now
we
have
banks.
opening up a bank.
We have banks in Mississippi. We actually have 2 banks in Mississippi, right?
We got one in Hattiesburg.
My
we got a credit
in one of them. The thing is, dude, I get that, but think about this, dude. Like on a larger scale, like 2 banks ain't gonna do it. It's good.
No, sir.
You know what I mean? But okay, so kind of going back to your Young Jock theory, right?
Yeah.
So if we don't have people that just want to set up a gas station, like, dude, you gonna be the black gas station. You know what I mean? Like,
and people are gonna fuck with you.
You know what? I think we're missing something big, yo. Because you're talking about if somebody just wants to set up a gas station. I'm not saying it's not possible. But we are talking about people that have been disenfranchised. We're talking about people who have been left to the.
All right, I'm gonna say something off top. I'm gonna say something off top, man, because stereotypes are rooted in fact. Okay,
right.
I'm not. Fuck it, whatever. What does the stereotypical gas station owner look like? Stereotypical now.
Indian descent.
Okay, so you're telling me that these people just came over with all the advantages, all the advantages given to white people? Nah, dude. Yeah. They came together. They put their money in a business, and they're not ashamed to work in a gas station.
They also get grants.
We can get grants.
Yeah. What I'm saying, there is a specific foreign grant.
Well, here's the difference to y'all. And let me break this. I'm gonna see if y'all feel me on this. The difference is the mindset, dude. So, have you really ever seen too many Asian people working at like Walmart? Nope. You ain't gonna see that shit. What do you see them doing? They hustling, doing nails or hair, gas station, whatever they little hustlers.
They have their own business.
They have no thought of ever working for somebody.
They are appealing to the black dollar.
Well,
and that's what it is.
Well, dude, even when I had, like, it wasn't a gas station, but it was a convenience store. When I had that, like, you ain't seen too many black dudes with a convenience store,
Nope.
but I was just like,
you were the
in
first
that-
one I'd ever seen, bro.
Yeah.
Except for out in the country, but like yours was like legit, where that one might just be like
just some shit in it. Yeah,
some
yeah.
shit. You know what I'm saying?
But the thing is, like, I saw so many black people come from all over, dude, like hours away coming in to support me.
Right.
And that's when it clicked. Dude, if you build it.
By the way, I'm gonna have to pull up on you, man.
Oh, I
will
told
come.
them, so-
Yeah, I gotta pull up on. No,
I
for
did
real, not
say
even
a lot, but
bullshitting, bro.
We're gonna do this again. So, anywho, my thing is, dude, like, I think sometimes we get caught up in wanting to do the same hustle, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we don't need any more wing spots.
We don't need any more barbershops.
No more barbershops.
We don't need any more hair shops.
And no more painting with a twist. It's time for us to do some stuff. No more. What do you call those waist trainers?
You
Like,
said penny and twist. Is that a black thing?
well, not necessarily.
Oh, I'm like, damn, I would have.
I was on the road for a minute, but my homeboy does exotic painting with a twist.
Painting with a twist.
Long story, but anyway. But yeah, my point is, dude, we need to start thinking out of the box. So if we just were to look at people and be like, dude, you gonna be our construction person. Every house we build, we going through you, and you better have the people who gonna lay the foundation. They gonna be black. You know, it sounds racist, but not necessarily. We giving you an opportunity that you was not gonna get.
Okay, let's ask a question. This is a question because I'm with you. So what you're saying is we need to give information. We need to let people know that they have access to. So let's say, what is the process?
I want to give the game away.
That's what I'm saying. What is the process then? If we want to
game
get,
warden? As you said, a game warden.
No, I said I want to give game.
Oh, I was going to say no. Like,
if we're
don't
gonna
know.
say, because essentially what it sounds like you're saying is you're like the people. I'm not saying you're saying it's easy because I know it's not easy, but there is a way to do it. People may not be aware of the way to do it. So
Yes.
what is the very first step?
Of doing what, to start a business?
Yeah, well, not to start a business
But
because
so this thing we're talking about, this idea.
we're talking about the concept of I guess we need to make it specific.
I think I got you. So I think the first thing would be is to start some platform for individuals alike, right? And it's for
a think tank.
a think tank, a group think, a black entrepreneurial. Come here, and it's not that we want to brag like, oh, I got a bag shop. I do no. Everybody stop and listen. You know what I mean? Exactly. So we come in and we can bring in like an Eric Thomas or, there ain't got to be nobody famous to come in and like somebody who gets the idea. You know what I mean? Say, hey, this is the plan. This is what we need to do. So in order to create a sustainable culture or community or whatever, you got to have a few basic essential businesses, right?
Yes, sir.
And you look at this guy. You've been in banking for 30 years. We would love to put some investments into you, and we're going to funnel our money through these other businesses, through your bank. We're going to help. We're going to have a black graphic designer. He's going to set up your website.
Okay, so you skip. So okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I took off.
I guess this is what I'm saying okay, so we have let's say a 17-year-old kid.
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay, there we go.
And what I'm saying is because what you just said, I'm not saying I'm not gonna say before I met you. I'll say it went over my head because I don't know nobody that's into banking, and I don't know. What I'm saying is for a 17-year-old kid that has decided that he doesn't want to go to school.
Yes, there we go.
He wants to just make money. He just wants to go make money. What is his first step? What does he need to do?
I'm glad you asked
Mentorship
it.
would be my first guess. Mentorship would be my first guess. Find somebody that's doing something that you want to fucking do.
Not everybody has access to that. I'm being
see,
the devil's
that's the issue,
advocate,
right?
But that's what I'm saying. So for an individual that doesn't, well, I guess I'm kind of doing too much.
Then we're going right back to what Tony was fucking saying.
But
man.
let's just say he doesn't have access to it, and so he doesn't have access to a mentor.
We're going to develop a mentorship, right? You know what I mean? They have big Boys and Girls Club, Big Brother, Big Sister, with all that. But we develop our own thing, and our thing is basically going to be developing young individuals, right? So I'm not going to get too involved with like Greeks and stuff like that, but I think as you go, you're going to build up more donations and more support. But I would think you come to the 17-year-old, now you might have a little 17-year-old guy. You have one who got straight A's in school, the other may not graduate high school.
Right.
And you say, hey man, what are your interests? I'm like, well, let me talk to you. You might not have a father. He might have a father. He might just not have a good life. Whatever the situation, if he ain't got the answers, I got the answers for you. So I'm going to drop ideas on him. Like you pair him with somebody who's successful, and you're going to talk it through. I'm not going to force you to do anything, but hey, have you ever thought about being a police and protecting your mom and your grandma and stuff like that?
Because that is the mindset of a lot of young, I'm not going to say just young black men, but a lot of young men that maybe don't have direction. I had to do this for this person. I had to do this. what can you do that's positive?
What can you do is positive. Now you have this young individual who is doing it for a purpose, policing his own community. Now, a lot of people say, well, I went to the military when I was 18 and I have a choice. And the military is great, but we ain't always got to go that avenue. You know what I mean? We need general managers of McDonald's. We need general managers. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's so many little things throughout the community, and you can do and make decent money. You can be a plumber. We need mechanics. Like, dude,
people sleep on plumbers.
They making money, dude. Like,
plumbers make bank. Dude.
You can go to an apprenticeship, learn how to weld. Like, we need little, you know what I mean? That's going to be the foundation of it, is having people in place.
Because when you have those positions in place, it's easier to branch out within your community to get what you need done, to build infrastructure, to build connections, to provide mentorship. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
If you have a okay, so
I guess what I think what the mentality is, and I'm just gonna speak for myself. When you grow and you miss opportunity, you kind of have nothing. You inspire to have everything,
which is exactly what I was talking about with the young jock shit.
But that's my point.
Cool.
But what's
cool
my point is, what's
manager.
wrong? What's wrong with somebody wanting to be a millionaire?
There's nothing wrong with that. But the point is, though, is like, what's wrong with shooting for a millionaire and landing at making $120,000? That's still very far above the fucking national poverty.
I get that, but what I'm saying is, so that's why my original question was ownership, business ownership. I get that. Yeah, we need more people working in the community, but again, that goes to the whole other argument.
Community, we mean like the community overwhelming.
I got you, but I feel like that goes back to the other argument of working with a system that is not working with me. So I'm not even talking about that. What I'm saying is, if we had, let's say we had 10 black millionaires in Hattiesburg, you're not going to tell me Hattiesburg's not going to change. You get what I'm saying? So my point is, the best thing to happen.
Time out. So are you saying that if we have more black representation of an individual with an insane amount of money, that's going to change everything for all black people in that community?
This is what I'm saying. I'm saying, so okay, if we had 10 black millionaires in Hattiesburg, we would have more availability to be financially. How?
So we probably have 10 millionaires in Hattiesburg.
He's saying black, specifically black millionaires.
No, I'm saying black.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, you got some ball players around here. You got some people doing real estate and stuff like that. You probably have 10. Right. And the thing is, ain't much change. You know what I mean? I think that you have to have 10 millionaires like-minded that are trying.
Okay.
So what we find is you see a lot of African-American people who end up getting money but don't care. They're like, I found a way to do it. You need to figure out, like, I ain't got time to go back to the hood and get all my money. Right. If I give you all my money, I ain't going to have no money. That's the problem. But if we start setting up the system, like, so to go to your point a minute ago, why can't you have that $1 million mindset? First of all, everybody just don't got it.
Yep.
Like, I remember when I was in college, I go back to USM and I speak at least twice a year to the business department, and half of those people don't think like that. Like, I think I'm a rarity. I want money, but some people are seriously comfortable. I had a homeboy tell me one time, he was like, man, Tony, you crazy, man. You trying to make millions by the time you're 40. I just want to make about $30,000 or $40,000, get me a house, have a few kids, and just be comfortable. Right. So to that degree, it's always going to be individuals who are not looking for ownership. They just want stability, right?
Right.
So that's where you find these individuals that are okay making somewhere between $15,000 to $20,000, $30,000 an hour. They're going to be okay. Then you have levels to this shit, right? Yeah. So you got 8 level 8 right now. So that would be level 1. You know what I mean? Level 2, you start to go up. We get people to go in and get associate's degrees doing this, that, and third. Level 3, you get people getting back. You see what I'm saying? So basically, and then if everybody's going through this mentorship, right? Then you have people who have an allegiance to this system. So if you have somebody who went and they became lawyers and stuff back, they come right back around. Now they're the mentors. They're gonna start picking out people who may want to be lawyers or even physicians. Come back, people are doctors, and you tell these kids, look, you can be a doctor. The thing is, you got to make straight A's right now, and they tell them how to do it. See, that's something that black people have never had. White kids,
I was just about to get that.
If a child had a white people person had a dad who was a doctor, they know exactly how to get through. So they got connections at that school to get you in that school no matter what your test score is.
Maybe not even the connections to get into the school, but they know
they got the game.
They know exactly.
It's
they
old
know
money.
the path.
It's called old money.
No, it's not old money because you got
it.
No, it's
this
not.
Is different.
Old money comes with who you know. Old money comes with who you know. If your dad's a doctor, he's gonna know doctors.
That's not old money.
Old money.
But what I'm saying is,
Old
Okay.
money is blue bloods.
I got what
you know
you're
what I'm
saying.
saying? That's
I get
throwback.
that.
So
I
those
get
kids
that.
don't have to go to school.
But what I'm
That's
saying
old
is,
money.
when I say what comes with, a person with money is going to know more people.
That's what we're getting at.
That's what I'm saying. When I say old money, I mean he was a doctor. His dad owned the company. Because he had access, his father had money to pay for it.
Not
His
necessarily.
father connected him to the right person.
Okay, let's go another route.
That's why I brought up That's why I originally brought up a 17-year-old black boy that does not have any connections. That's why I made that point. What does he do in order for him to reach his dream? I said
like
$1 million.
LeBron James or Kobe.
So you said no.
You can't. Those are not good examples. Those are not good examples.
They are though. And the reason I brought both of them up is because they are doing exactly what Tony and I are suggesting should be done.
Going back
LeBron
into
James
the
has done
mission.
so much for his community.
Yeah.
He put a school in place.
They're playing basketball. You're going against your own point.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying. However you make your money is how you make your money, fam.
Right.
What you do with your money and how you impact your community is where you really start to shine.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's why people fuck with LeBron so heavy.
But the thing is, though, fam, so I love LeBron to death, but the difference between me and LeBron, if I go out and talk to kids, I'm going to be talking about business because that's my avenue.
Yes, sir.
That people are going to be coming to LeBron who technically want to play basketball. Not
Nah,
all the time.
But he's put a school in
He's
place.
a businessman.
And
He is a businessman,
and
but-
anybody that goes to his school, I believe, if they graduate with a certain GPA, are automatically going to college.
He gives them a scholarship?
He gives them a scholarship.
Oh, that's dope.
He's
See, I
using
don't know
his
anything about
own
that.
money to build the school, pay the teachers, and pay their way through school, but they have to put the work in.
Yeah, I
You
got
see what I'm
to
saying?
we got
So
to close
he's
up a
not-
little bit. I got to go.
Oh,
But
shit. All right.
damn, that was good though.
I'll fuck with it.
That was good.
But no, dude, I feel like to sum it up, man, like, it really just comes down to black faces being present and available to communicate ideas with other black faces.
And that's how we'll win.